What's happening, good people? This is your boy Brian Boggs here with another episode of Deconflicted. With me is my man, my partner, my fellow host. Speak for yourself, bro.
Hey, what it do? What it do, man? This is your brother Antoine Jarvis, as y'all can see down low. Uh, man, it's a hell of a blessing to be here, man. Always a pleasure to be here, rocking with you, B. You know what I mean? Let's go ahead and get this. Let's go ahead and get this started.
Solid, solid. And as always, we're here to talk about the 3Ds of life. Just giving you perspectives on them: discernment, decisions, and deconfliction. So today, I remember you wanted to talk on this, so we're gonna do it. So our titles are: we using pain or love to teach, and it's really about the education or the miseducation of our kids based upon our methods of schooling them. What's your take on it, brother?
You know what? I'm glad you articulated it that way because it's a lot of times we focus on the wrong, doing something wrong or doing something right. You know what I'm saying? We're so quick to, respond to things based off of what I believe is our traumas. Um, I there was one time where I thought it made sense to whoop my kids for doing something that was inappropriate, doing something that I felt was dumb. You know what I'm saying? As the 40-year-old man I am today, I'm like I look at things totally differently, and since like for like the last 6 7 years, it's been that way. Where I'm like, um, things have to keep evolving. You know what I'm saying? Things that I used to just trip off on, now I'm just like, you know what? We just got to keep evolving for the better. You know what I'm saying? So, um, yeah, even conversations with you, when you told me some things about making them do the thinking. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
As punishment, like you tell me what should be your punishment. Just little
Exactly.
stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh shit. So you telling me, it's better to have them, figure out what's best for them, and that's a whole new way of thinking.
Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? And then the reason why I did that is because I wanted to put him in the driver's seat to see what he thought the importance of what I was saying was. So I mean, like, hey, you did this. What do you think should be the punishment? Because based upon what he says, it let me know whether or not I'm making the point of how important something is. Because if he gives himself something that's real lackadaisical, something that's real light as a punishment, he gonna think that the offense wasn't nothing major and it didn't really deserve anything. So now I got to do a better job of articulating the importance of something that I deemed he didn't do efficiently.
Mm,
So and like for
right.
me, and I believe that most parents they are teaching their kids from places of pain or trauma. Because a lot of times we learn from our own mistakes, and we try to tell our kids the mistakes we made so that they don't have to make them. And it makes sense, but a part of that also is mistakes is the best way for a person to learn. Until you made the mistake, you don't really know what it is you've avoided. Now hopefully it's not a mistake that needs to cost them their life or financial ruin or anything like that. But if it's something that they can bounce back from, I'm a firm believer in letting my kids bump their heads a couple of times. Hopefully they'll figure it out.
And that's important. I had a conversation with my oldest one time, and he was telling me, Dad, I'm never scared to take no fade. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's that just comes with the territory. And I'm like, you know what? I said I can appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's a lost art these days, where most young men are afraid to lose a fight,
Right.
or even win, or just even to participate in a fight. Um, but what I want you to understand is it doesn't make you any less of a man to be able to use your words to defuse the situation. You understand what I'm saying? Because again, all it takes is a split second for things to go really bad. You know what I mean? And now phone calls got to be made, and things got to be, hashed out because of, decisions that you decided to make in a split moment because you felt this is me being real.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So yes, listen, I applaud you for not being able to not being afraid of taking an ass whooping. I applaud you for that. But that's not where it stops. You know what I'm saying? That now, how can we evolve that? If you're boxing, if you was out there training for boxing and everything, by all means, do what you do, right? Um, however, you know, on the street level, that things have consequences.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? I remember I beat up this dude one time, man, years ago, man. He owed me a soup and said he was gonna pay for it. You know what I'm saying? He was like, I'm gonna pay you the next day. I got you. I gave him the soup. You know what I mean? Very next day, he didn't pay me, ignored me, didn't say nothing to me, didn't nothing. Right? So I hollered at a dude. You know what I'm saying? I was shopping game with this dude from LA. And and as we're talking and everything, I just feel a certain type of way about how this is going. And I'm like, man, like you ain't gonna say nothing to me. You said you was gonna pay me today. If you're not gonna pay me today, say something. You know what I'm saying? Hey man, I didn't get commissary. I'll pay you tomorrow. Something. You know what I'm saying? He didn't say nothing to me. So I'm like, man, this ain't cool, bro. Like, and then boom, I just reacted. And I'm like, like, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna have to run that because you owe me. Long story short, we get into a fight. I put hands on the dude. You know what I'm saying? He bite me. I'm close, you know what I'm saying? Close contact, you know what I'm saying? Putting hands on him. He bite me. And I freeze. I'm like, you don't let me go, bro. Like, I'm spazzing out because he biting me and shit. And that's, you know what I'm saying? He ended up letting me go. And I just poo, 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 poo. It get broken up. And then I'm not thinking to say, hey, bro, you know what I'm saying? You still owe me that soup. You know what I'm saying? We good now, but you still owe me that soup. You understand what I'm saying? Because I didn't do that. I didn't even realize I had to do that until, later on that day when I was talking to the homie and he was just like, bro, like, he a Keyway, go talk to him. You know what I'm saying? I go upstairs to go have a conversation with him. He's sharpening the pencil. You know what I'm saying? Because he's thinking it's
Right.
war. You know what I'm saying? He's sharpening the pencil. I'm like, hey man, you know what I'm saying? I just wanted to tap in with you real quick and let you know, hey, you still owe me that soup. You know what I'm saying? But we good. You know what I'm saying? From brother to brother, we still good, but you still owe me that soup. And he was like, oh, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I'm glad you said something, bro. I thought it was all bad. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? To the point to where he thought he was going to try to run a pencil, you know what I'm saying, in my body or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So, um, I say all that to say this, man. It really is important. Communication is important. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And so, I think I think it's a powerful weapon, and it's good that you have older people or more wiser people than you around you, being able to share the type of life lessons that you've shared with me, because I take that and I process it how I see fit, and if it's something I can use, I'm gonna use. If it's something I can't use, I'm gonna do away with.
I'm
You
the
know what
same
I'm
way.
saying? You already know. And man, I turn around and I use that on my sons. Like, okay, fighting is one aspect of it. How do we evolve that? You know what I'm saying? What's your thoughts on
Absolutely.
that?
So for myself, my son, he hasn't got into many fights, but him and his best friend got into it one time. And, I had to put up the front like, hey, you're not supposed to do that. But then when I got him by himself, I said, hey, good job, son. You don't let nobody punch you. You know, because
Right.
one, I try to always when I'm teaching my kids, I try to teach from a position of love and where I just want to give them tools to utilize, but they have to utilize the tool. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to tell them the entire outcome. I'm gonna tell them potential outcomes, and that way they can make a decision if that's something that they want to strive for. But I will tell you, I wasn't always like this. With my oldest, I didn't always teach from a place of love, and I can honestly say that I probably taught more from a place of pain. I was teaching from a place of my own trauma, the own way, the way that I grew up. And when you're younger, you tend to think, okay, I grew up and I'm all right, so I'm gonna instill the same things that was given to me.
That's right. That's right.
But the thing is, the time is different, the environment is different. It's not the same, and that caused some tension between me and my oldest that I'm still working through to this day. And another part is, when you grow up below the poverty line, when you get older and you have kids, once you become an adult and you have kids, you want to give the kids everything you didn't have. And I got so many people, hey, I want to give my kids, I didn't have this, I ain't had that. But the thing I think that's more important is, instead of giving the kids what we didn't have, I think we need to teach the kids what we wasn't taught. Have better conversations with our kids, having real conversations. And when I say real conversations, I'm talking about, well, you let your kid express themselves, share their perspective, and you not belittle it, or you not think it's not valid because you as the parent, you think what you say is superior to what they got to say because you've been there, done that. And it's a process to get there, and I'm still working to try to not be in that position to say, well, yeah, I already did this before, I know where it's going to go. I say, hey, what do you think something like this is going to lead you to? And I get their perspective on what they think what they're doing is going to lead to. That way, so that they get their minds to thinking, instead of them just receiving information, not necessarily processing it because it's just been told to them. It's like an order in the military. Hey, you get told the order, you just do the order. You ain't really thought about the consequences of the order, you're just doing it. Now, I don't want to just give orders. I want to have a discussion, conversation. I want you to use your mental processor to see, what do you think are the potential outcomes? What's the advantages and disadvantages of a decision? That way, so you can go in with your eyes all the way open when you decide to do something.
That's a powerful statement, and I can definitely appreciate it because um, it really be those opportunities where you sit down and allow them the space, speak freely.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Speak freely, and I know for a fact I was that guy who was, you know what I mean? Because again, this is what I learned from my mom. She still do this to this day. You know what I mean? She taught me that um, whatever she says goes, and I got to do it just because she says so. So I took that. I didn't even know I was teaching from that place.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I had no clue I was teaching from that space in my head where she was living rent free, you know, doing the best that she could with what she had at the time. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
what hit me with that, and I'm sitting here like, and I would use that with my kid because I said so, bro. Who you think you are? Who you think you talking to? You know what I'm saying? Approaching it that way, and I'm sitting here, and as we had this conversation, I'm like, man, like that's something I could work on. You see what I'm saying? Like, okay, now I got a little breadcrumb of how I can critique my parenting and how I can critique myself. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because that's what I love about these podcasts that we share, man. It's an opportunity for us to have these conversations and really uh, allow the mind to start thinking in different ways. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? That's why it's called deconflicted, because it allows us to, have the discernment to be able to look at things for face value and really decide, what we're going to do next with the information we got in front of us and make that decision. And then boom, come with a way that allows us to deconflict, you know, the environment, so that way that, like you said before, like we don't have a head-on collision.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the best way to approach things, because we're going to keep evolving.
Facts.
Like, period. Like, I tell people all the time, listen, I'm not the same dude. Well, hold on. You said back then this is what it. Nah, I'm not the same dude I was last year. I'm not even the same dude I was last. I'm not even. I was gonna say last week. I'm not even the same dude I was a minute ago.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even the same dude I was a minute ago. If I see I was wrong, the person I am now is. I mean, I'm okay to admit that. Listen, my
Yes.
ego is not involved when making decisions nowadays. You know what I'm saying? I can say, okay, you know what? I feel this was going on, but let me look at this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And that hard part right there, ego, man, and it's crazy because a lot of people say they don't have egos, but don't realize that egos are making all the decisions for them. Because whenever you start talking about me, that's ego. You know
That's all ego.
what
Straight up. That is all ego
I'm
involved
saying?
right there. Nah, you ain't lying. You ain't lying.
you know?
Nah,
So
and
yeah,
that's a beautiful way to think about it, man. Is approach a situation from a perspective where our ego is in check. You know what I'm saying? Our ego is in check, and not be, because even when you go into a classroom with a teacher is not telling the child, you have to do this because I said so. I mean, you may come across those ones that do it in an insufficient manner, right? But the ones who do it in a way that gets the results that they want, they don't teach like that.
right.
You know what I'm saying? I've sat in enough of my kids' classes, just to see, what's going on, to see that's not how they teach. You know what I mean? And they teach
Right.
from a position of, I want to say, love, if you will, because they're not focused on, well, if you don't do this, you're gonna get in trouble. Well, you have to do this, or if you don't, you're gonna get in trouble. They're not constantly beating the kid over the head with, if you don't do this, it's gonna be trouble. You know what I'm saying? It's there's rewards that they have set in motion for the kids to appreciate, and for them to work towards something. What's your thoughts on, because this is something that I'm working on right now. What's your thoughts on paying your kids for chores,
I'm against it.
rewarding them for
I'm
what?
against it.
Okay, okay. Tell me
I'm
why. Because
totally
again, when I'm in classrooms, I see rewards available if the kids act right.
right. So here's this, and this is why I'm against rewards for doing chores. So the way I talk to my kids, I say, "Hey, y'all, we a team. We all have a position to play in the execution of this machine called our household. This is your job. This is your job. This is my job. This is their job. Everybody has a role to play to make the machine work. Now, as long as the machine is working, everybody's going to get their needs met. I'm going to handle your needs, your clothing, your food, you know, recreation, refreshment. Those things, I'm going to meet those things. As far as a reward, though, a reward, you got to go above and beyond. You got to go above and beyond to get a reward to me. I mean, and still, if you're doing something that you're supposed to be doing, I, I'm I'm not going to reward you for doing what you're supposed to be doing, because now, to me, what that sets a kid up for is to think that just because they did the bare minimum of what they were supposed to be doing, they should be getting something in return. And life doesn't work that way. The people that get rewarded are the ones that go above and beyond.
Right. I
That,
can
that
see that.
that's the real world. So I want my kids to understand. Hey, we operate the way the real world operates. You know, I'm not going to reward you for doing your job. You know what I'm saying? You
God,
know, when
dog.
you go to work, you get paid to do your job. So you ask, what can I get a promotion? What did you do? You know, what did you do that deserves a promotion? Because
Right.
all I know right now is you've done your job.
Right. Right. Straight up. Straight up. If you want a little extra pay, that's
Yeah,
why they call it overtime.
exactly.
Man, it's funny you said that, brother, because I had learned one time, you know what I'm saying, from another parent I know to do the whole chores and reward system. So I was paying my kids for a little bit for doing their chores. And then I realized, man, like, the hell am I doing? Like, I realized, like, what the hell am I doing, man? Like, and I made that adjustment. Like, hey, you guys are not getting paid for doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Facts.
But I will reward you if you go above and beyond the call of duty. I'll give
Exactly.
you that. You know what I'm saying? If you go above and beyond what you're supposed to be doing, you know what I'm saying? And matter of fact, I'll even paint a picture for you of what that looks like.
Same here.
You know what I'm saying? I'll paint that picture of what it looks like. And this is what you got to do. If you do X, Y, Z, you're gonna be good. You know what I'm saying? And it's because it's funny you said that because it clicked for me like, why would I pay you guys to do what you're supposed to be doing? You're supposed to clean up after yourself.
Exactly. You're supposed to clean your room.
You're supposed to
You're
make your
supposed to
bed.
do it. Exactly.
You know what am I doing? You know what I'm saying? You supposed to be already doing this. You're supposed to clean up after yourself. You're supposed to do the dishes. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, we work as a team. I go out here and
Exactly.
slay dragons. I take the meat from that. I take that dragon meat and I bring it in here and I cook it. You know what? Matter of fact, I'm making y'all cook the dragon meat that I just went to go risk my life to go slay. Y'all cook that so y'all learn how to cook as well, and then we'll eat. You know what I'm saying? We'll share the spoils of war.
Facts.
Oh, and by the way, y'all have to clean this up after you're done. You know what I'm saying? And because of that, excuse me, when y'all be asking for PlayStation Network, you see what I'm saying? And you want to run the video games online and stuff. Listen, I'll go ahead and throw a couple dollars towards that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'll throw a couple dollars towards that. You want some new toys? I'll throw a couple dollars to that. But again, I'm not gonna reward you because I'm already supplying you with your needs. You're not doing anything you're not supposed to already be doing. You already got your needs met in a way that is more than enough for you.
Absolutely. And you know another part of it, and this is why I consider not giving allowance and not giving those rewards. I consider that teaching from love, vice teaching from pain. Because teaching from pain is you didn't have it, so you want to give it to your kids. You know, that's teaching from pain because you're teaching from a place of you had it was scarce to you, so you want to make it abundant for them. But I teach from love because one thing I don't want to do is I do not want my kids to have a sense of entitlement. Because when you have that sense of entitlement, the the work ethic lags
Because the
because
world
you think
owes
it's
you
supposed to be
something.
given to
Right.
you.
Right. The world owes you now.
Yep.
Mm. Yeah, no, that's something to think on. And, and
Yeah.
and I think that's very important. And that's why I always, even co-parenting, you know what I'm saying? I'm always like, she's like, oh, the kids need new clothes. The kids need new this. I'm like, do they really? Do they really? Like, I literally just gave my oldest son about 10 pairs of shoes. He got all of mine. and I'm a truck driver, so I barely even wore my shoes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I barely even wore my shoes, and I just gave them all to him. I'll get some when I need them, but I'm home, every 4 weeks for like 5, 6 days, 7 days. So why do I, you know what I'm saying? Why do I need a whole bunch of shoes to just sit there? You know what I'm saying? For me, that's just not logical. For other people, that's okay. But for me, that's just not logical. So I, obviously gave them to my son. You see what I'm saying? He wears 11 and a half, but he fits my size 12s. And I'm glad you pointed that out because, speaking from, to be able to understand and discern for yourself, teaching from love looks like this, teaching from pain looks like that. Because I didn't know teaching from pain was I want to give them, everything I didn't have.
Exactly.
I thought that was teaching from love.
No, that's teaching
You know
from
what I'm
pain.
saying? I didn't even know that when I first started this parenting thing. And as I matured and had more kids, and I started to learn more and evolve, I started to realize, no, man, they don't have to have everything that you had. Just make sure that their needs are met. And if we sprinkle a little extra, that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, for me, right, and this is just me, how she teaches is totally different. You know what I'm saying? But how I teach is I want you guys to be able to take the valuable life lessons that come from all of the experiences that we're having, no matter what you're going through.
Right.
Because if I can give you a life lesson and then I also assist you on utilizing critical thinking, you'll make the decision for yourself. You don't need me. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's it's back to what you were saying. Teaching from a position of love and not teaching from a position of pain. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Identifying those damn presets and seeing that what these presets are causing, more confusion than not.
Absolutely. And I got this way because when I was growing up, like my brother, he was given everything. Anything he wanted, he got. Not me. I had to get a paper route at 12. I had to earn everything I ever got. And it just carried over into adulthood for both of us. And my brother had a serious sense of entitlement, and he struggled for a long time as an adult because of it. And so me seeing that in my own life kind of put my mind in the space early, like, nah, that's not what we're gonna do. Plus, another reason why I'm against allowances is it perpetuates that uh, condition called consumerism. Because when you're a kid, you ain't buying your meals, you ain't buying your clothes. So if you're having all this excess money, it's burning a hole in your pocket. I know firsthand. When I had excess money, it burned a hole in my pocket. I got to spend it on something.
Straight up.
You know what
Straight
I'm
up.
saying? So as soon as you get some money, you want to spend it on something because I got some more money coming next week.
Right. That's facts. That's facts. Because I did this right here. Next week, I'm getting it right back.
I'm getting it right back, and I don't want, and I fell victim to consumerism a little bit when I was younger. I'm not as much as now because I've learned to not really care about that part of life, even though I still like nice things, but I don't have to constantly have to buy things. And I didn't want my kids to have to fall into that cycle, and it's worked for him so far. My son, 18, he doesn't spend a lot of money, because like first he asked me one time for an allowance, and I said, "What do you need an allowance for? Like, what do you need to do? What do you need money for?" And I made him think about it. What do you need money for? If you drive, I give you money for gas. You drive, you don't have to pay a car note. You don't have to pay for insurance. I give you one of my credit cards so you can get a meal. And you got to call me before you utilize it because I need to make sure what you using it for. You don't need to buy clothes. I get your clothes, or your mom, or your sister. So what do you need money for? And he understood. He's like, you're right. I was like, there you go.
Man, as you talking, I'm thinking my damn self like, what do they need money for? Like,
Yeah.
what in the hell do they need money for, man? Because I'm like, dude, because my 9-year-old and my 13-year-old can get very creative on what they feel that they need money for. And as I'm listening to you, I'm like, damn, bro, like, everything's already paid for. You know
Everything's
what I'm
paid
saying?
for.
Like, what else do you need? You know what I mean? Because even when I give them, when I pay for the internet, the little network for the internet and stuff like that, for them to go online and play video games, you got to give me a book report. You know what I'm saying? I want a book report. I want 2-page book report on the who, what, where, when, and why
Solid.
of what you read.
I love it.
Screenshot it and send it to me. And it better be very thought provoking, to where now I can read that and understand what you just got done reading.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And I can only speak on that because I did it the other way. Let me go ahead and give y'all a couple dollars real quick. They go run it up and go straight to buy candy. That shit burn a hole in their pocket.
Exactly.
Like straight up, bro. Like hot Cheetos, Takis, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, I'm telling you, dude, like, they go buy the stuff. I'm like, dude, like, why do y'all buy that stuff? That's not even real food, right? Like,
Exactly.
I get it, Dad. I get it, Dad. Fuego, all this stuff. I'm like, dude, like, why is y'all, man, for what? Like, what are y'all doing, bro? Like, you have it, you don't know how to just save it and then, like, spend it on something that, you know what I'm saying, that you save for, that you really, really want. You know what I'm saying? Nah,
Absolutely.
they don't think like that, because for their birthday, they get money.
Exactly.
Birthday, they get gifts. You know what I'm saying? They got clothes on their back, shoes, everything, that all of their needs are being met. You know what I'm saying? In such a real way.
And let me tell you how powerful what I'm doing. So my 9-year-old, my daughter, my youngest, just turned 9 yesterday. So a couple weeks ago, she was somewhere and she wanted something, but when she was told to use her own money, because from her birthday money that she's been getting, she said she's like,
Yeah,
I don't need it. Yeah.
straight up. She thought about it.
You thought about it.
Thought about it. You know what? That I really don't even need that right there.
I really don't even need it.
Hey, that is facts, man. It's
Absolutely.
again, that's the power of critical thinking.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And when we rob our children of the ability to be able to think for themselves, no matter the age, you said 9 years old. No matter the age, she was able to decide for herself. Let me see what I'm looking at. Okay, you know what? Let me make a decision on that real quick. And I'm not going to do what I think I need to do. It's not really a need.
Exactly. That's an impulse buy. I don't really want it. I see it, I want it, but I don't really want it.
It's an impulse buy, and we do it all the damn time.
All the time.
Like you said, it burns a hole in your pocket. And that just, again, that comes from the trauma of being growing up as a have-not and not really having much, when you were little.
Yep.
Now, every time we get a couple of dollars, the first thing we do is think about different ways to spend it.
Yep, because we want to show people that we have.
Man, that's a powerful concept right there.
It's still the same reason why a person to have a S550 living in an apartment.
Oh my God. Bro, or the brand new Escalade.
Yeah.
Staying in the APT. I'm like, how are you staying in an apartment, bro? But you got
$100,000 car.
there, bro.
Like you got $100,000 car living in an apartment. Like, hey, I ain't want to tell anybody how to spend their money.
Never. No, never.
Spend your money as you see fit. But if you run into hard times, understand that with property you can borrow against. Now you can do a title loan if you want.
Straight up. You could if you want to.
If you want to.
You could if you want to.
That interest rate is gonna be a whole lot higher.
They're gonna bust your ass on the interest rate. Yep. They're gonna bust your ass. And I think a lot of us, we don't think about. It takes us a while, like you said before earlier, man. Sometimes we have to go through the things first to be able to learn from it. You know what I'm saying? And they say a wise man can see other people's mistakes and learn from them.
Facts.
Right? But I still think you are still wise by being able to do some critical thinking based off of what you just encountered. You know what I'm saying? And I like how you switched it from me making all the decisions for you to now I'm just focusing on the teaching moments for you, and then you decide for yourself what you're gonna do.
Absolutely. Prime example. So my son, he was running track, and he wanted to go to the junior nationals in Sacramento. They were 2 weeks ago. And I said, well, look, if you want to compete collegiately, you got to get to certain points. He wasn't there. In his high school season, he finished fourth in CIF, so he didn't get to go to state. So I was like, hey, so what do you need to jump to be competitive collegiately? He's like, I need 48. I said, all right. So you're not there. Like, you're 43. So I said, hey, by this time, this was back in June, I said, by July, you need to get 45. He hit 44.11. I said, okay, I'm going to give you a pass. I said, if you want to go to the junior national in Sacramento, you got to hit 46. He hit 45.3, and he was behind the board. He's like, yeah, I would have been 46. Like, but you didn't get 46.
But you did. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's still something you're not doing right to where you can record a 46. And then at his last meet, I was like, hey, so when he got the 45.3, I said, look, check this out. If you could just match that, we can go. He didn't match it. And the thing was, the thing I appreciate is he understood. And he didn't try to sell me. He didn't try to convince me to still go. He understood that there was a standard. He didn't meet the standard. So there's no reason to talk about going. His coach was like, hey man, you should still consider, you should think about it. I'm like, all right, I hear y'all. Yeah, me and my son, we dealing with this.
Right.
And my son,
us over here, we good.
Exactly. My son was disappointed initially, but he didn't hold on to it long, and he shook it off. And like, yeah, I didn't get it, so I understand. And that, I was so proud of him for that, because that's the thing I wanted to teach him is that, hey man, when you're trying to get places in life, if you don't meet the standard, you don't get to that place. Mm-hmm. If you can't do it, then you can't do it. And if you want to do it, you got to be able to do it. And he understood that, and he knew he didn't earn the right to go to junior nationals because he didn't hit the standard that I had set for him.
That's a powerful statement. And again, life lessons, bro.
Life lessons. Because that's the thing. That's what I wanted to learn. I don't want him to have a sense of entitlement, because if I just let him go to state when he didn't perform to the level that we had set beforehand, what am I teaching them? I'm teaching them, hey, we can set standards, but standards ain't important.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
We can say this is our target, but we don't have to reach it though.
But you ain't got to reach it though. I still let you go.
Reward you for just trying.
Exactly.
Ooh. Yeah, because and that's crazy that you said that is because a lot of times we do that as parents.
We do.
We reward the effort versus what I'm saying, setting a standard and sticking to that standard no matter what.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Do you feel that I don't know if you've seen it, you know what I mean, but do you see that um more consistently because as a father and an entrepreneur, you know what I'm saying? That helped you evolve how your teaching methods with your children?
I honestly will say um, that does have a role, but honestly, I say the biggest part on the evolution of my teaching methods was to take a step back and look at, and honestly speaking, like with my oldest, my oldest is 25, and my oldest is kicking butt. She's kicking ass. She's a rock star. But I was inefficient in my parenting, so I had to take a step back and see what could I do better. Because just because my daughter's kicking ass, that's a testament to her, not a testament to me. To me,
Yep.
you know what I'm
Straight up.
saying? That's a
Yep.
testament to her resilience. But I can't just look at her doing good. Oh yeah, I did it right. I got it right. Nah, I didn't get it right. So let's keep getting better. And again, it ain't about right or wrong. It's about efficient and
Correct.
inefficient. And I was inefficient, and I'm trying to get more efficient. And I think I am.
Mm, that's a powerful statement, man. I think that's the best way to look at, and I never thought of it like that when you said that's not something you take credit for. That's
Right.
just shows you what she's capable of doing. You know what I'm saying? And a lot
Yeah.
of us as parents be trying to do that whole pat on the back. This
Exactly.
is why, you know what I'm saying? This is why this person is where they are because of me.
Yes. Like, let me tell you, when my daughter graduated from Spelman, uh, summa cum laude, I think. Yeah, summa cum laude. People, hey man, you did a good job. I'm like, "Hey, I didn't do nothing. She did all the work."
Perspective. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like straight up
Yeah.
perspective. As soon as she said she did all the work, now I'm thinking like what she did because studying.
Yep.
Um, you know what I'm saying? Like when everybody was partying and telling her, let's go do this, she's like, I got a test.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like that, you right. They did do all the work, and we're not giving them enough credit because our egos.
Because of our egos. We
Our
want
egos.
we see something, and that's crazy. That's how a lot of people are in life. They see something positive, see something strong, and they want to be a part of it, and they want to think they had a play in it.
Mm,
And even if you did have a part of it,
mm.
unless you actually did the work.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. If you just told me how to get to A to Z, it's appreciated. But if you actually did it for me, then you can take the credit for it.
Exactly. But that person still got to go from A to Z on their own.
On
You
their
can
own.
you can map out a route, but that don't mean they're gonna take the route because there's distractions and there's forks in the road and all this stuff. For them to continue, for them to take the route that you mapped out, that's a testament to them.
God dog. Man, well, another great build.
Absolutely, brother. I
Another
love it.
great build, man. Another great build, man. Any last words before getting up out of here?
Hey, nah, I just say, hey, love on your kids and realize, you know, survival of the fittest is real. So if you want your kids to be the fittest, you gotta teach them from a place of love instead of from the pain that you went through.
Being able to identify. I'm gonna say this before we get up out of here. just to piggyback off of what you're saying, being able to identify that you're even teaching from a place of pain is so key.
Yeah.
Because that's where it starts. You know what I'm saying? If you can identify that you're teaching from a place of pain, then you can say, you know what, let me check myself when I start doing this, let me check myself real quick. And then once I check myself, now this is what I should have done.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So yes, love on your kids, man, and realize it took you years to have the level of understanding that you want your child who has only been on earth 9 years, 13 years, 17 years. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
it took you 30 plus years, 40 plus 50 years to get that understanding, and now you want them to have your understanding. You have an expectation, or you set an unrealistic standard. Again, before, there's nothing wrong with standards,
Right.
but you have to be clear, and it has to be realistic, if you will. And I'm not telling you what's realistic and what's not. Whatever it is to you is whatever it is to you.
And
But it
that's
has to
exactly
be it's straight up, and but it has to be a way. If you want them to really understand and grow from it, it has to be a way that they can see what you're trying to teach them, and then okay, if I can see it, then I can do it.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, we ha- we can do better
Facts.
every day. You know what I'm saying? Every single day. This conversation shows we can do better. You know what
Yes.
I'm
And
saying? So
I'm glad you brought that up, man, because that was a key part, and I left that part out. When the standard was set for my son, we agreed on that together. I didn't just arbitrarily throw out some numbers.
you did
I
leave that
said,
out.
hey, does this make sense that you should get to 45 and then 46? Like, is that something that you think you can do? He said, yeah, I can do it. I said, all right, cool. Then let's do it. He didn't do it. All right. Let's focus on your training and let's see if we can work on it. Continue to keep working on it. You can't go to junior nationals, but you can keep working on it. Because junior nationals is not the goal. The goal is to be able to compete collegiately. That's the goal.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So
Exactly. Yeah. Well, again, always a pleasure, brother. You know what I'm saying, to be able to build with you on these platforms and share these conversations, man. You enjoy the rest of your day.
you
Um,
too.
will do, brother. I'll talk to you later, man. Peace to everybody out there.
Hey, peace and love.
There it is.